Hello guys, welcome back to Flexibility Screencast. So we just finished off this section then. So we had PNF stretching. This was the process behind it. Now I didn't want to stop there because ultimately this is a really popular question with regard to firstly the process of PNF stretching. So you need to be able to describe how you would produce a PNF stretching session. Secondly, they might ask for the physiological factors to underpin PNF stretching. So it's really important we have an understanding then that really the PNF stretching, if you're going to kind of evaluate it, gives you the biggest kind of increases in flexibility. Therefore, we need to know why. Why? Because the muscle spindles adapt to allow the stretch to move further or increase the range of movement at a joint, which inhibits the stretch reflex. Okay, so these two things are absolutely vital with regard to the physiology behind PNF stretching. And of course, anyone who's revised well, the adaptations will recognize these straight away. Okay, so these are two adaptations from generic flexibility stretching, but they are really specific to PNF stretching. So if that's a PNF stretching, then obviously I haven't put the evaluation points on here, so if you're looking at things, firstly the advantage, it gives the biggest range kind of increase in stretching, as I said before. It's really useful for performers who rely on flexibility, such as gymnasts or dancers. The downside to it, of course, is for inexperienced people it could lead to kind of injuries. Secondly, if you're looking at this from you need an experienced kind of person to perform the stretch as a partner to know exactly what they're doing. Okay, so that would be some examples of evaluations on that one. Now, if we go on to adaptations to flexibility training, so I'll put these down here. What I would just like you to have a go at is this. If these are the key things that adapt as a result of flexibility training, the 4 or 5 stretching techniques we've talked about, this is what will happen. So I'm just going to let you read those. So if we have a look at those, you've got range of movement at joint, stretch reflex inhibited by muscle spindles adapting. We just talked about that. Elasticity and resting elasticity. You can also have resting length of connective tissues. And then I've put this stuff down here just as a filler, so you can fill that stuff up there. And then a bit at the end here, so the reduction of antagonist inhibition. Okay, so it allows antagonist pairs to work together more effectively. So when remembering this, if you're kind of taught by me, you'll be kind of used to the kind of acronym we use for this. So when you think of stretching, you put yourself in, just remember the acronym STRETCH, and you've got a bit at the end there, so that just allows you then to make sure you've got all of your stretching adaptations into a kind of a nice little acronym. Now, really worth thinking about here. Prepare yourself. I'm pretty sure that you would feel okay with regard to kind of remembering those adaptations. The thing you're going to have to be prepared for is for any adaptation set, whether it's strength, aerobic capacity, aerobic adaptations, the number hooks, or for this, the acronym we're using for this, you must make sure that you can apply it to the sporting example that's asked for. So if it was a 20 mark question, then we must start to think about this idea of, how would this stuff allow us, or these adaptations allow a performer to perform more effectively. So for example, a gymnast means they can reach further in the splits. Okay, it might mean that they can stretch arms further as a goalkeeper. Whatever the example is, you must make sure each separate adaptation you can link it then to the sporting example that is examined if it was a 20 mark question. So just make sure you've got that in your head, and yeah, that'll be the final part. Thanks very much.